My name is Todd Walker. I'm a Deputy Chief with the Decatur Police Department Criminal Investigations Division. I have a brief statement to make, and then I will try to answer a few questions if possible. At 1:20 a.m. this morning, 2 Decatur police officers were dispatched to the Wharf Tavern at 201 West First Drive regarding a disorderly male subject. Upon the arrival of the uniform officers, an employee of the tavern provided information and lodged a criminal complaint towards a 45-year-old Decatur male patron who had been at the tavern and was still present upon the arrival of the officers. After obtaining information from the tavern employee, the uniform officers approached the suspect patron and would eventually inform the suspect that he was under arrest. The suspect did not comply with verbal commands of the officers and is alleged to have been refusing the incident of arrest, or refusing to be placed under arrest. During the effect of the arrest, the suspect resisted, and the officers attempted to use less than lethal means, which were ineffective, subsequently leading to a physical confrontation between the officers and the suspect. A preliminary investigation at this point indicates during the struggle, the suspect allegedly attempted to disarm and obtain the Decatur officer's service weapon. During the struggle, the officer's weapon discharged, striking the suspect. The 45-year-old suspect was transported to a local hospital where he underwent surgery and is currently listed in serious condition. Immediately after the shooting, Decatur police detectives and administrators were notified. Shortly after that, the Illinois State Police's own 5 investigations were contacted and have since responded to our jurisdiction. The Macon County State's Attorney's Office has also been notified. The Illinois State Police, which are representatives from the investigative unit that is assisting, or is the lead investigative agency on this incident, are present here today as well. Decatur police detectives secured initial witnesses present at the scene as well as the actual crime scene, and are only assisting the Illinois State Police with the requests that they may have in this investigation. We will not release the names of the suspect at this time or the involved officers. Official charges regarding the suspect will be determined once the investigation is complete and reviewed by the Macon County State's Attorney's Office. This is an ongoing investigation. It happened very early this morning. It's not wrapped up. So with that, I will take a few of your questions if I can answer them. Yes.
What hospital was the suspect at?
St. Mary's Hospital in Decatur.
Where was he shot?
He was shot in the upper torso. Yes.
Was the taser used before this?
There were less than lethal attempts as far as items of less lethal use. Tasers were attempted. OC pepper spray was attempted. Despite their presence and verbal repeated commands, physical hands-on control tactics were attempted before the weapon was discharged. Yes.
We heard that the owner's husband is a police officer. Was he involved in this at all?
No.
You indicated during the struggle,
Yes.
the suspect attempted to maybe obtain one of the officer's weapons, and that's when things...
As I stated, the preliminary investigation indicates that during the struggle, the suspect allegedly attempted to disarm and obtain a officer's service weapon during the struggle.
And the suspect is listed in what condition?
The last we knew, he was in serious condition at St. Mary's Hospital. I will tell you, too, that one of the officers involved sustained injuries, was treated at a local hospital, released. He will be on a injury status for a while. His injuries are not significant enough to permanently, hopefully, keep him from doing his job, but he did sustain injuries. These officers have at least 10 years' experience on the job, and while the investigation proceeds, which is normal policy for us as well as many other departments, these officers are assigned to the office of the Chief of Police for administrative duties, and that is normal. Yes.
Could you repeat where the struggle took place?
The struggle took place at the Wharf Tavern outside at 201 West First Drive in Decatur. The officers were initially detailed there at 1:20 a.m. this morning. There were civilians present during this altercation as well. During this incident as well, they were not injured.
Did any civilians get involved in this struggle at all?
I'm not going to do that specific information, but there were civilians present, and I'll just leave it at that.
Can you tell us how many civilians?
No.
Why was the suspect going to be placed under arrest?
The officers had obtained probable cause and enough grounds to make an arrest initially for disorderly conduct and criminal trespass, we believe at this time. At least that's what the investigation reveals.
Was this suspect intoxicated?
I'm not going to comment on that at this time. Do not know if that is a factor or not.
Does he have a criminal history?
I can't comment. Supreme Court rules prohibit me from commenting about a person's prior criminal history.
I'm sorry, could you repeat when you said the charges will be determined?
The charges will be determined after, A, the investigation is complete, and that is the investigation that's being completed by the Illinois State Police, and then reviewed by the Macon County State's Attorney. And they will determine what, if any, charges will be appropriate filed. And that's not a process that's going to be done in 12 hours. So.
Which
Yeah.
officer shot the suspect? Was it the one who was injured or the other one?
The officer that was injured as a result of the altercation is the officer that was treated. There was 2 officers there, or we're not disclosing which officer was the one that fired the weapon at this time. That's part of the investigation.
I take it the officer that was injured was not shot, though.
None of the officers were shot. Anything else? Yes.
When you have something like this, can you kind of talk about more on a personal level what it's like for the police department dealing with something like this?
No. I mean, unfortunately, this is a side effect of our job. This is what each and every police officer across the United States may encounter each day they go to work. That's the nature of the business. That may happen in your career, it may not. As far as the personal effects or personal issues that this officer may be going through, I think that'd be inappropriate for me to discuss what personal issues he might be going through. I wasn't there. So for us, it's a job. Our job as investigators, along with the state police investigators, are to determine the facts and what took place. I'm not going to speculate on somebody's personal feelings or what.
At this point, how confident are you that your officers did the right thing?
No, I'm not going to comment on that. Again, this is an early investigation. We're looking into it. We're providing you with the information that we have. We don't have anything that is going to make a conclusion one way or another that we're in a position to release at this point. That would be inappropriate. That's why we have the state police in here looking at it. That's why we have the state's attorney's been notified, and that's their determination. It's not ours.
I saw that tomorrow you guys are going to be holding a use of force and civil liability review training course. In light of what's happened overnight, are you guys going to open it up to more officers, or any changes going to be?
Our officers go through numerous mandatory training topics every year, and that just happens to be a training topic that is falling during this particular week that has been scheduled for many, many months. All our officers are required to go through several mandatory refresher trainings, and that just happens to be one topic. So we will not be adding more officers simply in view of today's events. All our officers, we try to put through that type of training, as well as other training constantly throughout the year. But that depends on staffing and availability of instructors. That'll take 1 or 2 more questions if you have them, and then we're going to end this.
Typically, how long does an investigation?
There is no time period. We're not going to rush it. We're not going to hurry it. We have a very good working relationship with the Illinois State Police. We, as an agency ourselves, had obtained quite a bit of information to provide them when they arrive to start their investigation, but there is no clock, there's no hourglass, there's no deadline for us to rush this. We will do a professional job like we always do. We have confidence that they will do a thorough investigation of it, and there's no need to put a time on this, on when it will be complete. It will be complete when the Illinois State Police says it's complete. The state's attorneys reviewed it, and until then, it's an ongoing investigation.
Could you repeat if the suspect had been charged with anything?
The suspect is in St. Mary's right now in serious condition, so he has not been charged with anything. All right, thank you for coming.